We are away.
You.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Let's Hook In. My name's Braddo, and this is my first live video podcast, and I've got a special guest here today, Phil Hedges. I'm not going to talk too much about Phil. He's going to do it for himself.
Okay.
Pass it over to you, Phil. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Great. Oh God, where to begin? So currently a correctional officer, but in saying that too, I'm also a hypnotherapist, martial artist, and mountain slayer.
Mountain slayer.
So yeah.
Where should we start? Correctional officer. That's where I met you.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been doing that for quite a while too. Not the most satisfying job on the planet, I can imagine. I'm sure there are reasons we do it, but we probably won't get too much into that because I don't like talking about it, and it's boring and not very satisfying.
Fair call.
So next thing, you are a hypnotist, not a hypnosis.
Yeah, I'm a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, whatever you want to call it. So long story short, or long story long, depending on how you look at it, I came into the job that I do now is corrections, and I went from doing that, I went from working in, being a martial arts instructor into corrections, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, I've got to back this up a little bit. So I had a job that I loved and adored and was like literally one of the greatest things I've ever done. I was training kids from the age of 3 to about 60. And amazing job, amazing job. Except I was on a wage of about 32k a year, and punching out about 50 hours a week because I was managing this club. I was training like students, and there was all the behind the scenes stuff for marketing and everything else. And then I met some guys that were training at another centre. And they were wanting to do some training for the ERG or the TAC squad or whatever you want to call it. You know, the guys that go in with the helmets and the batons and crash and bash. And in the movies, they're the ones doing the riots. Yep. And they said to me, "You should come work in the prison." And I was like, "Yeah. I'm 6'4", 150 kilos, and I'm a mountain of muscle."
Just like myself.
Yeah, I know, right? And so that'd be a great idea. And they're like, no, it's more about communication and de-escalation and talking. I'm like, oh, okay, I can talk. I can do that. And then they told me it was pretty much triple the pay I was on, and I got half the year off.
Not bad.
And I was like, yep, all right, sign me up. I'm in.
Sign me up.
Let's do it. Let's go. The thing they kind of forgot to tell me was it's a fucking prison. And so I went from this job that I loved and this job where I was active and doing all these things to a job where I sat on my ass for 12 hours, or at least it felt like I sat on my ass for 12 hours and got fed 2 bulk meals a day, and my weight just blew out. Mm-hmm. Like absolutely blew out. I went from anywhere between sort of 63 and 67 kilos to like 85 kilos in about 3 months.
Okay. And so the key word there that I'm going to pull you up on is satisfaction. There's not much.
No.
Let's be honest, I'll talk a little bit about my experience with it. I did it for 13 years in New South Wales.
Yep.
Went coal mining for 4 years because I'd had enough of corrections and dealing with the not so cool people in the world. Did that, come up to Gold Coast for a holiday and said to the wife, "Do you want to move up here?" As a bluff, like a joke. Yep, let's do that. So my original plan was to do something I can do, which was corrections. Do it for 12 months, buy a business, get out of it, and live life, have happy life, happy wife. Yep. That didn't work out. Here I am 8 years later, still doing it. And the thing where we're going with the satisfaction thing, there's no satisfaction in it. However, if you're looking from the outside, if you don't work in corrections, and I was talking to you, you don't work there. And I said to you, I work 12-hour shifts. I get paid good money. I've got government super. It ticks some fucking good boxes.
It does. It certainly does.
And that is where I am. My experience with that is not trapped. I can go tomorrow. There's no. I've got keys for the gate. I can get out. I'm not trapped in there. But all those big ticket items, they keep me there.
Oh, 100%.
And so the satisfaction part, I can totally understand. You're going from a very rewarding job instructing people martial arts, something you love, to basically sitting on your butt all day and getting called names.
Yeah, pretty much. And I reached out to my sister, and she'd just done her training in hypnosis and a few other things. And I rang her in tears, and I'm like, I just need to lose weight. If I just lose weight, everything else in my life will be fine. And by this time, I didn't realize it, but I was like morbidly depressed. I'm destroying my relationships around me. I'm a shell of a man of who I was. And so I turned around to her and said, can you help me? Can you just help me lose some weight? And she was like, yeah, drive down to like Adelong, which is like near Wagga. Mm-hmm. She's like, drive down here, come see me, and we'll sort you out. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to just jump on a plane. And she's like, no, drive down. I said, all right, cool. Well, if I just grab drive down. I had to drive down. And in the month before driving down, shit just went awry. So my daughter's mother, who I'm separated from, been long-term separated from her, decided she was moving back to Wollongong with my daughter, and I fully supported it, but I'm like, I'm getting my child taken away from me interstate. Mm-hmm. We found out my father was terminally ill. He's still with us, but it was like, this is what's going on. Yep. And it's like, so there was that. And then on the actual drive down to see my sister, my partner at the time sent me a message, hey, I've packed up the apartment. When you get back, whatever's left is yours.
Jesus.
And so when I got down to see my sister, I was a wreck. I was ready just to walk into the ocean and not come back. Yeah. And we worked together for 3 days. So over the 3 days, we went through all these different processes and did a lot of therapy. And at the end of that time, I was like, oh, I'm good. I got no problems. Like life's sweet. Life's absolutely sweet. And I knew there was things I needed to do. I knew I had stuff going on, but it wasn't a concern. It was like, oh, well, I've got to do this for the apartment. I've got to do this, and this. All right, cool. When I get back, I'm going to do that. Oh, yep, we've got this diagnosis for my father, so that's bad, but like he could still be here another 15, 20 years. Oh, so, okay, cool. Don't need to stress about that. And then I just knew how to deal with everything better. And from there, I became obsessed. I was like, wow, if I can learn how to do this and then help other people, it's like, that's cool. I want to do that. I'm going to do that. And it literally just snowballed to I went and trained under every single person possible, pretty much throughout Australia, and spent about 30 grand.
Okay, so just backing up a little bit, this is clearly whilst you're at corrections.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I just want to...
Yep, whilst I was at corrections.
Yep. So I remember you at the very beginning of your hypnosis journey. Yeah. And it was just that. And then, like you say, you're going to progress on to training and stuff. You did snowball. It went crazy. I loved watching your socials and stuff. It was great.
It's definitely been a journey with it. But so I just became obsessed and was like, okay, if I can start helping people and doing this, I will. And I did. I got certified. I trained under all these different people. I trained under people in the States, and then as it progressed, I was like, well, if I can help people, like I can feed a man a fish. Right? I can feed a man a fish. I can help them, with sleep, with anxiety, with weight loss, with smoking, with all these different cool things. And obviously, the more advanced I got, the more I was like, oh, I can help with anything. Like literally, everything starts in the mind. Everything that's going on, like. The problem's never the problem. The problem's just a symptom of what the problem is. So it's like if you've got a cough, you don't treat the cough. You actually treat the lung infection they have. Because if you're just treating the cough, the thing's going to keep coming back. Yeah. And so when I kind of figured this out, it all came down to like a couple of key things that was going on for people. But then I got to the point where, well, if I'm feeding a man a fish, how do I teach a man to fish? Like, well, if I give other people these skills, they can go out and then they can help people. And then it makes the evolution of that bigger for people to then create more like massive impact. Mm-hmm.
So at this point, you've done the hypnosis.
Yes.
You've thought, cool, I need to do this more. I need to teach people, because that's what you just explained.
Yep.
Here I'm being a bit silly here, but you've gone from doing hypnosis to now teaching people how to do hypnosis. Is that not cutting your own grave? Like, taking money away from yourself? Like, if you come and show me, this is a silly question, I know that.
No, not at all.
You show me how to be a hypnotist, I no longer need you. I can go and do my own thing, and you know what I mean? Or is there more to it?
No. That's, a lot of people kind of came up with that, and they're like, oh, well, now you've got all these people that are doing the thing you're doing. I'm like, yeah, but who are they coming to for advice?
Still come back.
They're still coming back to me.
Okay, yep.
And then what happened was, because I got very, very good and my students got very, very good results, other hypnotherapists and other people in that world of therapy would seek me out and be like, hey, you're the hypno guy. Can you show me how to do this? Can you help with this? I've got a client that's got this problem. Like, how would I approach it? So I could then mentor people and help them without needing to worry. And like, I'm a big believer in what's the law of abundance. There's always enough. Mm-hmm. There is always enough.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
Yeah, right. Because it seems like there's a business side in my mind. There's a business side of things, and then there's obviously it's not all about making all the money and not letting anyone else make money. It's about helping other people. So there's a care factor there. Like, how can I explain this? I got hypnotised years and years ago.
Yep.
I went to a jail social club. Let's go jail. And I'm a bit of a skeptic.
Of course.
You've probably picked up on that with a few conversations we've had in the past. Not a skeptic, but I like proof and
evidence.
And evidence, yeah. So I'm sitting down thinking, this is not going to work. Yeah, bullshit, you know. These blokes make... Stephen Spellmaster, by the way, was his name. A very popular one. So I put my hand up. My wife was there. Everyone was there. It was a big social night out. I put my hand up, thought, this is not going to work. And about 20 of us went up on the stage. And by the end of it, I think five people couldn't get under, go under, whatever the word is, yeah. I did, for some reason. And my experience with it, I was a skeptic. It's like if you've been hypnotised, you're going to know what I'm talking about, but it's like you know what you're telling me to do, and you know it's weird, and you feel like in your brain you can have the power to not do it, but you do it.
Yeah.
Like I was given a task where he told everybody on stage, he said, right, when you go back to your chair, every time you have a drink, you're going to make a noise. Mine was a tiger.
Yep.
So every time I had a drink of a beer or anything, I had to roar like a tiger. So here I am. My wife said, have a drink, Craig. And she's, I don't drink at the best of times, but she was encouraging me to have a drink. Like, there's something's weird going on here. So I had a sip and I'm like a big tiger. And you know what, it could still be perceived as bullshit, I believe. However, there was a guy there, his name was Terry Ross. He was an old senior.
Yep.
Really straight down the line, no bullshit type of guy. He was one of the guys with me that got hypnotised. And I think he was like a cockatoo or something. Every time he had a drink, you could see, I've got a video, I'll show you one day. He had a drink and he put his head up like this, his face went red and he was making this big cockatoo or something noise. And that, even though I was under hypnosis at the time, and all these thoughts of skepticism and all that sort of stuff, I thought, nah, it's real. Rossi would never, ever do this. He would never do this. So that's my experience.
Well, I kind of had a similar thing when I was training because, I went into the stage side of things as well as the therapy side of things. But when I was learning the stage thing, my mentor was like, there was a group of us and he kept putting me under because I wanted to know about it. So he's like, oh, you're easy, I'll put you under. You'll put you under, I'll put you under. And I remember the first time he's like, put me under, and I'm like, there, I'm okay. And I'm talking to myself in my head, and he's like, every time I say your name, you're going to bark like a puppy. And in my head, I'm like, no, I'm not. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to show you, and you're going to say my name and go like, ha, fucking got ya. This is not going to happen. Bullshit, whatever else. Like he's like, all right, come back to the here and now, 1, 2, 3, wide awake. I'm like, yep, cool. He's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, like, God damn it. And I didn't even have the chance to be like, no, I'm not. I'm like, oh, crap. And it didn't matter.
I'm feeling you.
Yeah, it was just like, gosh.
I'm feeling you. I know exactly what you're talking. Your subconscious brain says this is bullshit, then it's not going to work, but it just does.
Yep.
Now, I'm touching on your hypnosis.
Sure.
You had or have 2 world records?
Yes, still have 2 world records.
Can you tell us a little bit about those, please?
So I hold the online world record for the world's fastest handshake induction. So like from literally holding hands, sleep, and like shaking the hand to putting them down into a trance, which was 0.73 seconds or 0.75 seconds.
Hang on. Go again. So I've come up to you.
Yep.
I haven't been hypnotised backstage?
I haven't done anything to you.
Okay.
I haven't done anything to you backstage. And I've grabbed your hand and done a thing, and you've just dropped.
In less than a second?
In less than a second. We had it timed out and measured out. It was I think it was 7.1 0.73 seconds or 75 seconds, I forget. But
Wow. Now, I'm a bit of a dummy.
Yep.
Well, not really, but I'm a dummy. Who judges and how do you know that he's under and all this sort of stuff in...
Yeah, great question. So we had to do a full-length video on it, and so they had to see before and after, so they knew we weren't like playing funny buggers.
Yep.
And then the time had to be officially adjudicated, and then we just submitted it, and they were like, "Yep, that's in." And after they were in trance, I got them to do a few things to be like, "Okay, cool. They're seeing that they're under hypnosis. They're not just sitting there." And they gave them the evidence they wanted.
That is unreal. And you didn't know this guy?
I knew them.
Okay, yeah.
I knew who they were.
Not that it matters, I guess.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Hey, let's just try this thing." And I wanted to. I like to do things like I like to challenge myself. So it's like I'm like, let's see if I can get some world records just for fun.
Yep.
And then it just kind of blew out. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now I've got 2 world records. Sweet. Let's see if I can try this. Yeah, let's do that."
That'll be hard to beat. 0.7 of... That'd be...
Yeah.
Do you think it'll ever be beat?
Nah, probably not.
That's crazy.
And
I remember years ago when I was a kid, with the stopwatch, you'd do the stopwatch trick and try and stop it on a second.
Yep.
But try and go as quick as you can. The quickest I could do it was like 0.15. You're only another 0.55 over that.
Yeah.
Far out. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Pardon me. And the second one?
The second one's a mouthful. So it was the most people, and I'm probably going to say it wrong for what the sentence was, but it was the most people put into a full-body catalepsy and laid between 2 chairs while under trance in 60 seconds.
I think I know what that means. So stiff,
Yep, like
2 chairs.
stiff, lay him down, chair. So it's like sleep, stiff, chair, and they're just standing like a piece of board across 2 chairs.
And what did you say the time was on that one?
I did 4 in 60 seconds. I could have got 6. I was underprepared.
So you can beat that?
I can beat it.
When are you going to do that?
I don't know. But I could definitely beat it.
That was a few years ago?
Yeah, that was probably like 4 years ago now.
And are they in a Guinness Book of Records?
No. So Guinness wouldn't recognise any of them.
Okay.
And Guinness are a monopoly on the world record industry.
Okay.
So these are online world records, which is a different company. There's actually like hundreds of world record companies out there, believe it or not. But this is online world records. I'm working on a couple of things with Guinness at the moment because I've got a couple I want to attempt, which is they're not hypnosis basis, they're just like for fun.
Okay. That was my next question. What's next?
Oh gosh. So I'm looking at it's just stupid stuff, right? Because I'm like I get bored and I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. And what I've been playing with at the moment with a few clients is fire eating.
I think I saw a video of yourself and your daughter.
Yeah. I got my daughter came and did it as well, and I'm like, wow, I wonder how many like fire candles I could eat in a minute. I'm like, that'd be kind of fun.
Is there an existing record for that?
No, there's no existing record, so I'd set it.
Okay.
And like setting a record's so much easier than breaking a record.
I was going to say you could say do 10 easily.
Yep.
And then go back next year, do 11 and just keep beating your own record just to get your name in the book.
Yep. You could. You literally could. Like there's records in there for like snails on the face. The person who's put the most snails on their face. Like this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
There might be one out there for me. Maybe I can get in that book.
You could. You certainly could. And all you have to do is just pretty much send them an email and go, hey, I want to attempt this and here's how I'll do it. And then in 12 weeks they get back to you and going, yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah, right. So you hypnosis training still?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't give that up. So what happened was, again, just to go into a deeper story, my partner and I created that business. Well, my ex-partner and I created that business. And when we separated, I was like, I think that's the end of that chapter. And so we dissolved that business, and now I'm working on other things.
Okay.
And moving those along at the moment. So
do you still hypnotise people?
Yes. Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. I still do therapy, and I still see clients, but I'm not actively seeking them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say to you before, we could probably do 4 or 5 different episodes with you with these things. However, I was going to try and touch on most of them. I'll get you back.
Yeah,
if this goes well, anytime. I'll get you back. But I've written down a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. Now, published author.
Yes.
Is that a hypnotherapy type book?
Kind of. So what I did is I'm in the personal development space a lot. So I deal with like life coaches and hypnotherapists and like NLP practitioners and people who are genuinely helping people in the field of personal development. So what I did is I created a book for them and to just really help them like reach people on social media.
Okay.
So it was just a interesting book that I developed and put out there to see, one, if I could publish a book, and two, how easy it would be for me to do, so that when I have my proper book that I'm also working on, to be able to do. So it was really just a test run that worked really well.
Done and dusted.
Yeah,
how many sales?
Oh, I have no idea.
No, you don't know? Okay.
No, I haven't even looked.
Right. So it's going well.
Yeah, a couple of hundred, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that was we've done the hypnosis training, the 2 world records. Now, you just mentioned NLP.
Yes.
Master NLP practitioner. Now, look, no disrespect.
It's all good.
But I have no idea what that means. I've seen it online 100 times with people. Yep. But what does NLP mean and what does it do?
Great question. So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's, in my opinion, and I've got a very different opinion than a lot of other people in that field, it's conversational hypnosis.
Okay.
So it's just being able to talk to someone and help them think differently. And if you think differently, your actions are different. If your actions are different, then the results in your life are different.
Okay.
So it's about understanding how language patterns work. It's understanding how like certain things like eye patterning. So when someone's talking to you, if you can see the way their eyes are moving, and you can gauge that, you can then understand, okay, well, I understand when you're talking to me, if your eyes are looking up to the right, you may be accessing a memory, or you may be in your imagination. And if I can know those two things, I can then be like, oh, okay, if you're accessing memory, well, there's something there that you're thinking about. It's like, or if you're accessing like your kinesthetic, your feelings, it's like, oh, I don't know, it just makes me feel really bad. And they're looking down here. I'm like, okay, that's a kinesthetic thing they're doing. And if there's emotion there, then I can start to figure out what's going on. So it helps you understand how people think as well, not what they think.
Is this done in a group setting or in one-on-one type thing?
It can be done in any of them, yeah.
Okay, right. Because I see that, I've seen a few people, I follow a few different people online.
Yep.
My, excuse my ignorance, but I thought it was something to do with MLM.
Yeah.
You know?
It can be very culty and very rah-rah
Yep.
with some places, but like I don't fall into any of that stuff. I'm like, I just do my thing. I learn, I gain knowledge, and I can use that knowledge to then help or do other things with people.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I don't want to say I'm a lone wolf, but I'm not a part of any of the greater expanse of people.
Yeah, because it does look culty. It does look, without being too critical, looks like a money-making venture for the people running it.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Definitely can be.
Right, so that's that done. Now, I've noticed you went to Stawell High School. That's in Victoria.
I did, yes.
Now, do you have to be able to run fast to go to that school?
No, not at all. I'm assuming you're referring to the Easter gift. Yeah. So that was great. Being in Stawell, small country town, absolutely beautiful. And the town would go from like 10,000 people to like 30,000 people over the Easter weekend.
Is it still going?
Yep, still runs, and yeah, just the richest foot race in the world. It's so good.
Yeah, right. We had a Lithgow Flash gift many years ago. It only lasted, I don't know how long it lasted. If anyone out there knows how many years that ran for, please let me know, because I've forgotten. But it was a pretty lucrative type. It was kind of like the Stawell gift.
Yep.
It was an athletics carnival type thing based on running. There was a pretty hefty, if you know the prize, let me know the prize too. I've completely forgotten. I have number research, but yeah, the Lithgow Flash gift, because Marjorie Jackson, a former Australian, or a great Australian, she's still Australian, but an athlete, very successful, very popular, very good. She's a Lithgow girl.
Okay.
And that was where it was formulated around her name. And when I saw the Stawell thing, I thought, well, we've got something in common.
Yeah, well, the biggest one for me was when I was younger. Was Kathy Freeman came and actually did one.
Okay.
Like, yeah, only the one, but I don't even know where she placed on that. I was just like, oh my God, I know that name. You know, she's in the Olympics and does all the things.
Like when she was famous?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, she came down and ran it.
She probably had to do 3 laps compared to the people.
No, not at all. It's, well, because I think she was more of a long distance runner, if I remember correctly. Well,
yeah,
like
400?
400.
Yeah.
And the gift was like 110.
Okay.
So
it wasn't handicapped, was it? Like the Lithgow one was.
Yeah.
Like if you're 10 metres in front of me during the heats,
yeah,
Ulster.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, something
but
like that.
again, I don't understand the whole. Like, I never got into the dynamics of the way that worked.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm pretty sure it was handicapped for those reasons.
Right, and you're a Victorian.
I am.
So the question I was going to ask you, it's going to be a pretty obvious answer, NRL or AFL?
Look, I was an AFL boy through and through, but I've been up here now for like 14, almost 15 years. And I've definitely got on the Dolphins bandwagon.
The Dolphins?
Yeah, because like I liked the Storm being Victorian. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll just follow the Storm. But then when the Dolphins came about, I was like, you know what? Like, they're brand new at this. I'll just start with that and start following through. So yeah, I've paid a lot more attention this year than I have previous years, and I'm really enjoying it.
They're going okay for a first year club. They started off really well.
They started off great. I have a bet with a couple of mates. I was like, without even seeing a game of theirs, I was like, top 8 this year.
Okay.
And it's not looking great right now.
They're in 11th now.
Yeah, they need to kind of shape up for me. But
the Mighty Roosters just jumped them today, actually, this afternoon.
I know.
We have the hypnosis thing, which is we're all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain climbing.
Yes.
Martial arts.
Yes.
And I was going to touch on mental health.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So can we touch on the mountain climbing? I know you're only at the start of your journey, even though for a guy like me, it seems like you've been there forever because you've climbed what I don't know much about mountains, but Mount Kilimanjaro, in my mind, sounds like a... From geography, from my memory of geography, it's up there.
It's big. So it's the largest freestanding mountain in the world. So it's not part of any ranges. You're walking and it just kind of comes up, and it's a part of like there's that mountain and then it craters down and there's another mountain. But Kili is the biggest, tallest freestanding mountain in the world, and I think, and I'm gonna be really bad here, and people are gonna hate it, but it's like 5,900 and 895, I think.
Okay.
Meters above sea level.
Why? Why climb a mountain?
Because it's hard.
Because it's hard. Was it you did a fundraiser attached to men's mental health or mental health?
Suicide Prevention Australia.
Suicide Prevention?
Yeah.
Was that the motivation of climbing, or was climbing the motivation of that?
It was kind of both. So obviously with the story I told you about hypnosis and how I got into that, I've struggled in the past and pretty recently with mental health. Just like when my partner and I separated, it was one of those things where and there's no bad blood there in any way, shape or form. I adore her. I've got nothing bad to say about her in any way. But when we separated, like we'd been engaged for 12 months, and she'd had a plot of land and she'd built, so we'd built together this home and we'd built a business together. And so in my mind I was like, oh my god, this is the happy ever after. Like I'm working, there's a house, we've got the dog, we've got all these things, and then as unfortunately things do at times, they break down. And from there my mental health just plummeted, absolutely plummeted, and I found myself in a really dark place for a little while there. Okay. But I'm also very self-aware, and I'm like, the first thing I did was reach out for help. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I know in the world of like blue collar world, whether it's corrections or first responders or just blue collar world, a lot of people don't speak out, and a lot of people don't reach out for help, and a lot of people think that it's just this is the way things are, and then they make that decision. They make a permanent decision based on a temporary situation, and they end their life.
Yep.
And for me, I started going down that road a little bit. I started thinking, well, I'm a really emotional guy, and so I've got big emotions, and with big emotions come big feelings, and with big feelings come big actions and whatever else. So if I'm madly in love with someone, I'm fucking madly in love with them. If I'm angry, I'm angry, or whatever else. And I started going down that road of, fuck, maybe I shouldn't be here. I hurt too much, and I don't want to hurt anymore, and I'm a burden on people. And when you get into that mindset, you start making up stories. And when you make up a story, what we do as people and what our unconscious mind does is, regardless of the story you're telling yourself, your unconscious mind will take anything it can as evidence to prove you right. So I'm like, wow, I'm not lovable and I'm a shitty person and I'm really sad. Okay, cool. Oh, old mate John didn't answer his phone. Yeah, because you're unlovable. There's proof. See, there's proof because you're not. All right, take that. Okay. Oh, I had a bad interaction with a friend today. Yeah, because you're not a great person. Oh, take that in. When it's just a story, you're completely fabricating it and making it up. But it leads that in, right?
Yep.
And then you forget this because you just want to prove yourself right with whatever you're doing. And I started going down that road of like, maybe I shouldn't fucking be here. And what then happened was, like, do you mind if I be really like real with all of this? Okay,
You go.
like, so I made the decision, like, I probably shouldn't be here. I'm gonna end it. And I decided how I was gonna do it, when I was gonna do it, where I was gonna do it, and it was all sorted. And it got to that point, and I was literally getting ready, thinking, "Yep, this is what I'm gonna do." And I got a text message from my daughter, and all it said was, "Hey, Dad, can I have some tuck shop money for tomorrow at school?" And I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like, in that instant, I'm like, you fucking moron. You've got no... How could you even consider doing that? I at no time I'd have gone, oh, my daughter. I was so focused on the stories I was telling myself, I'd forgotten about everything else. And as soon as I made that decision, as soon as I made that connection, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm out. This is, I'm an idiot. What am I doing? No, fucking no. All right, cool. Move on. And yes, I sent her a lot of money for tuck shop that week.
I think I remember that. I remember a post about this.
Yeah.
I think my comment was something along the lines of, "That's a $20 investment to save your life," or something like that.
Yeah, exactly right. And it just snapped me out of it. Like, straight away, it snapped me out of it. I'm like, okay, cool. This is ridiculous. This is like, my whole mindset shifted straight away from that. Like, it was just that one moment of pure clarity. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Move on. And I mean that with so much love on myself. You're a fucking idiot. Move on. And then I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm really lucky. There's not many people out there that get to those sort of points and then go, well, they have like a little guardian angel moment or whatever you want to call it.
So can I ask you?
Yeah.
What time frame are we talking from you getting the feelings of shit, getting all these negative thoughts, all these critical thinking, I'd call it, about everything. You're being critical about yourself and about your life, and everything that you see and hear and do is negative impact on you. How long between that starting and you getting that text from your daughter?
The critical thinking and starting that would have started in sort of January, February. And February was when I made that decision. And then, literally on the night where I was like, I'm going to do this, was when my daughter texted me. Bloody
hell, that's like, some sort of divine intervention, isn't it?
That was just like, okay, thank you. Thank you. And then I was like, fuck, I got to do something about this. I got to do something. And I want to climb Everest, is one of my big things.
Yep.
And I've got a guy who I speak to, I call him my climbing coach. He's actually on the show at the moment, The Hunted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Glenn Azar. So he's on.
He's Taylor Robinson's coach.
Yeah, that's right. So I've spoken to Glenn a few times because his daughter is Alyssa Azar.
Yep.
She was the youngest Australian to climb Mount Everest twice.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I met him through a mutual friend.
Yep.
And he's like, "Yep, you got to do this. You got to do this. We got to look at this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we made a deal that hasn't happened yet, which was he'll help me deal with, like, coach me on climbing, and I'll offer his boxes hypnosis.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like it's a really nice trade-off.
Yeah. Right.
And so he's like, do Kili first. Kili's a really good test. Go do Kili first. And I was like, I'm gonna go do Kili. But then I was like, okay, I'll do something hard, but like I want it to have a bit more meaning. And I was like, you know what? Suicide Prevention Australia, that's a good thing to do. I want to raise money. I want to bring awareness to this. I want to help people see that regardless of where you're at, things can get a lot better. Actually, really quickly. Really quickly. Yes, there are times where it doesn't, but it's temporary. Yeah. It's so temporary. It's
something I can't really speak of any personal experience with mental health issues. I'm trying to put myself on any sort of a level or anything.
No, it's fun.
But what a few people in my life have suffered from mental illness, and people that aren't in my life, like Robin Williams is a big one for me.
Oh,
Like, who the fuck would think Robin Williams, the funniest man on the planet, he doesn't even have to try to be funny, would possibly get so low in his life where he'd have to kill himself.
yeah, I like the saying, the bigger the front, the bigger the back.
Yeah, well,
So the bigger the front that people put on,
Yeah.
the bigger the back of what's going on with them behind the scenes.
wow, that got me. Another guy you might know, and I hope I'm not out of line saying this
No,
out
not
there,
at all.
but Spike Cheney, he's an Olympic boxer he's from Lithgow.
Yep.
Years and years ago, he was an Olympic boxer. He got a silver medal in the 88 Olympics, I think it was. Turned pro not long after he come back, and Spike was in a pro fight, fight 7, I think it was, winning that fight easily. I was watching it at a local pub, winning the fight easily. It was round 4 or 5, and he said to his trainer, Jeff Crow, he said, Jeff, I can't go on. And like, he was really winning this fight really easy. We thought this bloke was going to fall. He was going to get knocked out.
Yep.
And you know how they focus on a corner?
Yeah.
At the end of a round, they'll go to this corner, then they'll go to... It was on Spike's corner. And Spike said, I can't go on. And Jeff's gone, yeah, whatever, mate. You know, like, you dickhead, pull up. What are you talking about? You're smashing this bloke. And Spike's going, no, seriously, I can't go on.
Wow.
And it all changed. Jeff's attitude changed. He's gone, I'll never forget this. I'll never, ever forget it. Spike Cheney was the king of not just Lithgow, but almost the king of Australian boxing back then. We're talking unbelievable potential.
Yeah.
And this happened in a fight, in a pro fight. And I've gone, holy shit, what's going on here? As it turns out, long story short, Spike was diagnosed with bipolar, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And things went bad for Spike, I guess. He's gone from up here, sportsman, not only with boxing, but he was also the personal trainer, like the fitness trainer for North Sydney Bears at the time.
Oh, wow.
He was our hero. He was our local hero. He was the world to all us young blokes. You know, I went to boxing just to watch Spike train and jump in the ring with other blokes just to watch Spike train. And this guy, that's hit me the hardest, I think. You know, without my own personal experience, to see that happen to someone, Robin Williams, Spike Cheney, to people at the pinnacle of what they do in life. And Spike hasn't killed himself, but he struggled for many years, and we all know he struggled. That's outside looking in, and so there's something massively powerful about mental health.
And it's so underrated. Like, yes, people go, oh, mental health, but then that's it. It's like they go, oh yeah, mental health's really important. Mental health needs to be looked at, and we need to help people with mental health. And then what happens, right? It's, are you okay? No, not really. Oh. Anyway, man, buck up. Have a good one. Yeah. And you're like, wait, no. Like, someone's just told you. And I actually did this at work for a little while just as a bit of a test because, you know, in day-to-day jobs, people will be like, how are you? And everyone goes, oh, yeah, living the dream. I'm good. Yeah, not too bad. Whatever else. And people would walk past and be like, hey, Phil, how are you? I'm like, oh, terrible. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they'd kind of just move on. I was like, that's really interesting.
Wow.
That's really, really interesting because they're uncomfortable and then they didn't know how to deal with it because they would just expect, yeah, I'm great, living the dream, thanks, bye. And it's like, or some people wouldn't even realise I've said something negative. They'd just be like, oh, okay, cool, bye. Like,
just a token gesture.
Yeah, it's like, it was just really, really fascinating and people are really uncomfortable with having those sort of conversations.
Yeah.
And it's okay, it's not for everyone, but at the same time, you know, there needs to be a greater awareness and more tools out there for people to be able to go, okay, cool. What I've just been told that. What do I do? Yeah.
I can see from my experience in the years gone by, mental health was nothing. We wouldn't talk about it.
Nah,
men wouldn't talk about it. You know, you'd be feeling down and you might even cry.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even cry in front of people.
Geez, that'd be really good. Yeah. You can't do that.
So back in those days, now I have seen, like even years ago, when the 22 push-ups for suicide prevention or mental health or something it was. I did a couple of those for a couple of years. So it is starting to very slowly come up. And even people like myself, a hard nut like myself, will put on Facebook when somebody kills themselves or someone expresses some form of mental health issue. I'll put a comment out there, give me a call.
Yeah.
You know, my phone's always here, my door's always open. Give us a ring. I might not be a psychologist or a pro, but I'll make you laugh.
But
that's what I'm trying
you
to do.
don't you don't even need that, right? Like that's and it's fantastic you do that, but all you need is to literally hold space for someone. And by that I mean, like, if someone's down, like, I don't want visitors, you go, okay, cool, and you go visit them, and you sit down, and you don't have to talk. It could just be watching the footy. It could just be like a movie. It could be like you're just hanging out with them, like literally, so they know that there's someone there at some point. And people underestimate that because they're like, oh, it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, if you can just hold that space just for a little bit, people are like, oh wow, that's really important.
So you reached your goal with that.
I did.
I think I give you a couple
You
of dollars.
did. You definitely did, and I appreciate that. So yeah, we raised $2,000.
Yep.
Which was just, it blew my mind that so many people like, yes, let's do it, and just put anywhere from like $10 to $100 to whatever else in to support that. And the feedback I got was absolutely amazing. And then I went and climbed Killy.
Excellent. So was that target $1,000 to start with?
No, it was 10.
10,000. Oh, okay.
But it wasn't about the money. Like,
Yep.
I would have been happy with 500. It was just, I was like, I'm gonna raise money for something that's important, and I'm gonna do that by doing something that's really hard.
Okay. Now speak to me about your jumper.
Yes, 3-pack. So that's one of my new business ventures.
Okay. Yep.
So what we're doing is I'm taking people on the adventures I've gone on. So later next year, I'll be taking a group of people back to Kilimanjaro, and then they're going to be climbing it with me, and we're going to be raising money again for a different charity, and so on and so forth. So it's a way that I can continue to have fun and do things that are meaningful, because when you go through something so hard, you have realizations. Like, you have these really massive realizations, and I'm like, well, I know the growth and the realizations I had when I was there. One, I want people to be able to have that growth and realization as well. But then I'm like, well, I've got all these other modalities and all these other things I do. So not only will they be getting this awesome, like, experience, but we're going to dive into their, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, frustration. That we're going to deal with these things while we're doing it. So we'll climb through the day, and over night time we'll have dinner, and then we'll go through these processes with them. So it's almost like they're getting a coaching session and a breakthrough climbing amazing life session at the same time.
You didn't get that when you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. You did that for yourself.
I did that for myself.
And this has all come to you since that. You thought, I can do that and help people.
Yeah, and I want to do that.
Yeah, great.
It's like, and it's on the back of my shirt. It's happiness lies outside of your comfort zone.
Okay. What does that stand for in the acronym?
3 Peaks Adventure Company.
3 Peaks Adventure. So 3 Peaks, Kilimanjaro.
Yes. Kilimanjaro.
Everest.
Yep, Everest is the last one, and there's one that I'll be doing. I'm not sure if it's going to be next year or the year after, which will be Hanlung, which is also in Nepal.
Okay.
And that's a 7,200 metre.
Jesus, getting up there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but that's what will register me to be able to climb Everest.
Oh, okay.
There's lots of other little ones I'll be doing, but they're like the 3 prominent mountains I'll be climbing.
Right. So did this climbing bug, could I call it a bug?
Yeah.
What, did it just come after, without being rude, after the daughter's text message, you've gone, not straight after, not like I'm going to climb a mountain, but did it come after that, or have you always had a bug?
I've always wanted to do it for a long time. Like, I'm a big fan of Ant Middleton.
Yep.
And when I saw him talk about Everest and the stuff he did, I was like, I'm going to climb a mountain one day. I'd love to do Everest. And then I kind of sat on it, and I was like, yeah. I gotta think about work, and I gotta think about this, and I've got to be responsible, and I've got all these things. And then when I had my separation and stuff, I was like, I could just do that. Like, I could just focus on something and go do that. And then when I went and did it, I'm like, this is hard. It's really, really hard. And like, if you do something hard, you prove to yourself you can do something hard, then you can deal with other. It's like fight conditioning, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you're doing, like, we call it shark bait when I was fighting. You'd be in the ring, you'd have 2 minutes, and a fresh guy would come in, you'd spar for 2 minutes, and then the fresh guy would jump out, and another fresh guy would jump in, and you'd spar for 2 minutes without a break, and then another fresh guy would jump in. And it's like, that's harder than a real fight, because you're getting a fresh guy every round. as opposed to when you're in the ring, like the guy's getting tired with you.
Yep.
It's the same as like climbing mountains, right? I go through this like excruciating, horrible, amazing, beautiful, terrible experience, and then I complete it and I do it, and it's like, oh shit. Things in life are actually not that hard because I've just done that. Yeah. And so you build up a resilience to doing hard things, and then life becomes easier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So can we talk about the fighting a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me all about it. What form, what martial art did you do?
Mainly Muay Thai.
Okay.
So I fought for about 10 years. Nothing super advanced. I was purely amateur. But I fought for about 10 years in Muay Thai, and I also had 3 MMA fights.
Okay. So Muay Thai is no belts?
There are, as in like...
You don't get graded and stuff like that?
You don't
learn how to fight?
Get ready, yeah, you just learn to punch and kick people, and then you go and get decent at it, and they go, you want to fight? And you go, yeah. Yep. And then you jump in a ring and punch and kick someone for 3 2-minute rounds or 3
How many fights did you have?
All up, geez, how many fights did I have? In my time, I probably would have had 20... I think I was up to like 25 fights. Do you keep a record of the results? No.
No results?
I like my official record, like my official fight record was 5 wins, 9 losses, and 1 no contest.
Okay. And your MMA?
2 wins, 1 loss.
2 wins, 1 loss, not bad.
Yep.
Excellent. And you failed to mention one very significant title that you took a few years back.
Which one?
Was it something to do with the Emergency Services Games, I believe?
Oh, yeah, I got boxing, I got the gold medal at the Emergency Services boxing game. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit upset with him getting gold because I only got a bronze in the soccer. In the futsal,
yeah. You guys did well, though. Like,
we did all right,
you did well.
For a bunch of old fellas.
And those guys were brutal. Oh. I went in for a bit of fun.
Yep.
And, yeah, they were vicious. Every sport... I'm like, this will just be like a happy, a fun thing. No,
it's full on. Yeah.
These guys were ruthless.
I remember there was a guy played in futsal. He was a heavyweight, obviously, because he ended up fighting Spencer.
Yep.
And I think Spencer beat him in the gold medal match.
Yep.
That guy, we played against him in the futsal, and he ended up grabbing one of our players. I can't remember who it was. Got very angry with this little. I think it was Reece Pope.
Yep.
Possibly.
Okay. Yep.
I wanted to do that to Reece a couple of times because he wouldn't pass me the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he was a bit aggressive, and then Spencer got his revenge on him in the gold medal match and beat him up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good, excellent. And what about future? Not so much fighting, but training. Do you still do it?
I am just back at training now. I've still got a couple of fights in me.
Okay.
I was just talking to my coach the other day, actually. So I'm 38 this year, and there's been this really cool thing that's happened with one of the governing bodies in Muay Thai, and they've created a Masters division.
Okay.
So 40 plus, and you can still go through like state title, Australian title, Oceanic title, world titles.
Okay.
So I'm like, ooh, I can train now. I can have 1 or 2 fights, maybe 3 fights now. Then I hit 40 and I can be the young man in the old man world.
Yep.
And I can work my way up those ranks. So
they have the same in boxing. I've noticed over the years. Like another fellow I train with, he's a bit older than me. Wayne Young.
Yep.
He was an Australian light middleweight champion. Wayne, I forgot.
WBF with Kim Gray does a brilliant Masters. Just their Masters division is impeccable. It's amazing to see the stuff they do. Yeah,
good stuff. Well, that'll be good. I don't know what else to talk about, Phil, to be honest.
Mate.
There's heaps, but like I said, we could have a podcast on
each
all
one,
these
each
subjects and just keep talking. Can I thank you
it's
for coming
a pleasure.
on, for being so raw and honest?
Absolute pleasure.
And open. I apologise for my coughing and
don't apologise. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I'm so grateful and thankful to actually be here doing this. It's
no
amazing.
problem at all. And I look forward to doing many, many more of these. Hopefully,
beautiful
over the next forever, really. Because this is what I want to do.
Do it and stick with it. Do it for you. Don't do it for views. Don't do it for clicks. Don't do it for those. Do it because you enjoy doing it. Yeah. Just make sure you do that.
For sure. Excellent. Very good, Phil. Thanks,
no worries.
Mate.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent stuff.
Love it.
And I might need these.
Yeah, they'll help.
I hope that was recording.
Yeah, it was.
Yep, we're done.